Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. So give me one moment, people, as you are probably well aware, since I am in the office and not on the boat, we are going old school yet again, which is fine. There will be no Mark Wages. He may be able to pop in and into the live chat a little bit later. We're going to see what happens. Let's see. Get this all set up. And we've got Alan Ballantyne. Good to see you, my brother. People, Alan Ballantyne has lost an unbelievable amount of weight, but I kind of want to do, well, I'll tell you about that. We're going to get to that. Good to see you. No notification, Saigon. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully the notification is going up right about now. Brandon Calloway. Tell you what, people, if you know anybody, tell them we're live. Before we get rolling, send that out, because apparently no notifications went out, which is kind of sad. I did blast one out to the lifeboat page over on Facebook, but that doesn't always necessarily mean we're going to get to everybody. CW, good to see you, my brother. We've got Chris. Chris is here. Good to see you, Chris. Arizona Raven, glad you're here. Stacy Michaels, awesome. I got a notification, but I was already on here. Well, that's nice stuff. You got the one from Facebook. Good, good, good. Well, I'm hoping that as the stragglers come on board, that I'm going to run into the person who requested. Hey, it's Jamie. How are you? Jamie, good to see you. The person who requested that I talk about positivity. It might be nice if I ran into them, since I decided to put something together real quick to talk about positivity. For those, well, if you're just getting on, let's go over a little general housekeeping. How about this? I'm not nearly as yellow, right? Got the lighting down. Good, good. 5x5, how are we looking? Am I coming across clean? Let's hope so. Miss V, I'm so glad that you're here. You're cooking dinner. Didn't somebody just drop off an entire dinner? Thought there was an entire Thanksgiving was already there. Thank you, Jamie. Excellent. So we get the 5x5. Thank you, Arizona Raven. So, people, I had a request earlier. Before we get rolling, though, prayers for everyone that needs them. Fiona Crispin is going through it. I had an opportunity to get a message on Messenger from her, and she is not having a good time. You got to cook the turkey. That makes sense. She's not having a good time. The stomach bug is really getting to her. Miss Hermit Hill, Kentucky, great to see you. She's going to be back ASAP. Excellent. Clear. Good, good, good. Jackson, always nice to see you, my brother. So we also would like to keep in our prayers Saigon and his boy, Leisure Beast, Case 1320, and the two injuries, one from the car wreck and one from the hit and run. And please, people, let's also keep in our thoughts and prayers all of those people in Canada, in British Columbia, who basically got most of their town washed away in a deluge that where they got an entire month's worth of rain in 24 hours. They literally call it like a stream in the sky, like a river in the sky, which is frightening if you think about it, all that dumping in one day. So, the end of the last live feed, Cemetery, good to see you. At the end of the last live feed, I said, if there's anything that anyone would like me to touch base on, why don't you let me know what's on your mind? And someone talked about positivity, because they were getting out of a relationship with a narcissist. And if you've ever been down that road, this is something that damages people. And this is not rare, especially for people who are in recovery. Real, true narcissists tend to target people who are vulnerable in certain ways. It makes them an easier target for what it is that the narcissist is trying to get out of a relationship. You should think about real narcissists almost like psychic vampires. They really do thrive on stealing energy from individuals. Oh, hey, Johnny Scoville. It's good to see you, my brother. Always a pleasure when you pop into the live feeds. So it's like psychic vampirism. These individuals truthfully just sort of groove on misery. They take great pleasure in creating drama in people's lives. They want to be the focus of a person's everything, and they create drama and they create all kinds of problems and sort of fake situations in order to make that happen. And it's one of those things that oftentimes leaves people really scarred afterwards and sort of wondering what just happened. So again, this happens a lot because the people they're whether they do it consciously or subconsciously, they very often target people who are vulnerable. So you get someone coming off of drug addiction is a perfect target for that type of an individual. They look for people. Anyone here think they're a narcissistic person? I thought that about myself. Something. Here's the thing: narcissism is a term that gets thrown around, and true narcissism is a real, serious thing. It is a mental disorder that the fact that you can say, I've often, I've thought about myself that I might be narcissistic is probably a fairly good indicator that you're not. Truthfully, I mean, the people who suffer from this very oftentimes it's not one of those situations where they wonder about it. They know that there's something wrong with them, and very oftentimes it is really akin to other psychiatric disorders. Borderline personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder are often either running hand in hand or misdiagnosed as someone who is narcissistic. You become the center of your universe. I have seen you here and some of the comments that you've made. Either you're playing the game to people that can't see you, which is rare, or you're probably not a narcissist. I definitely went through a period of time where I was pretty concerned about it because of a misunderstanding, really, of what the term meant. People who work as public speakers very oftentimes are called narcissists. To sit in front of a camera and want to speak to people for hours at a time and do what I do, every day somebody somewhere is calling me a narcissist. The haters have a pretty good time with that term and sort of labeling me as such. But true narcissism, people don't tend to care about other people. They really, truthfully, are very much like sociopaths in that the only thing that matters in the world to a true narcissist is themselves. And everything that they do is being done for a reason. They're never lending themselves to help others. And it is a very difficult disorder to... Yeah, Chili Mancer says what they mean is you get attention and I don't, and there's something to that. There really is. People who see somebody that gets a lot of attention very oftentimes call them narcissists because of the fact that that's what they believe a narcissist is somebody who gets a lot of attention from a lot of people. There are some very textbook things. Most narcissists only date people who are either very, very attractive or very, very wealthy or very, very vulnerable because they're always going by what they can get out of a relationship. So it's either going to be, they can suck the lifeblood out of a person in terms of their emotion, or they like the way that the public looks at them when they're with their mate, or there's a financial gain. It's never about anything that there is no such thing as a healthy relationship with a narcissist. But I kind of digress. Tommy, sorry for asking again, but is Jack going to do an interview? I really wanted to hear his story and more about you. Yes, Jack is absolutely going to be doing an interview. The trouble was Jack got a job with working for Elon Musk's corporation, not the one that builds the automobiles, but the one that does the solar panels. So he is working for Musk's company now in California, and it's just been a scheduling thing, but we're working on it. Jack is definitely going to be doing an interview, and there is a really good chance that I'm going to get him to eat some Strowman. You heard it here, people. I very much want to see Jack suffer with that disgusting foul fish. I want that so badly that I'm willing to eat it myself just so that I have the opportunity to see him hurt. Yeah, probably doesn't sound very nice. But I kind of digress on the narcissistic thing. The only reason I bring it up is because it was how the positive thing was framed. Christine, excellent to see you. It is how that was framed. And, I mean, the question, because of a very bad experience with someone who is narcissistic, after this relationship, this individual found themselves really striving and really having a problem being positive. And it gives us yes, hashtag Jax to Strowman. Thank you. It leaves them trying to figure out a way to be a positive person without the use of drugs. And I don't think that they meant cocaine. I think they were talking about taking things like SSRIs, serotonin, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, things like antidepressants, which are on the rise, right? There's a lot of people that take them, and there's nothing wrong with it. If you really truthfully need an antidepressant, then it is a miracle drug. Unfortunately, they write prescriptions for it when someone says they're having a bad day. And truth be told, you're supposed to get depressed. You're just not supposed to live depressed. As human beings, we go through events in our lives. I was talking to someone yesterday that had a tough night last night, right? They were looking forward to something really fantastic happening, and it didn't. And that is always a huge sort of kick to the stomach. And if for a very brief period of time, you're going to be depressed about it. But if that lasts 3, 4, 5 days, then this isn't the place to come to get help. If you're finding that you're depressed, a week at a time and you can't get out of bed, I'm not your answer. I'm not a doctor. Right? I don't play one on YouTube. What I do is I bring up subject matter so that those in recovery can talk about it. And today, people, what we're going to talk about is being positive. I am of the firm belief, and there is science backing this up, that being positive, and I've said this many times in the past, is a choice. Being a positive individual is a choice that you make many, many times a day. I have done numerous shows on the difference between attractive and beautiful. Attractive is winning the genetic lottery. Something about what mom and dad passed down, and the symmetry of the face, and certain features that people find appealing to look at. Right? Models are very attractive. They can or cannot be beautiful as well. Beauty is something you choose. Charlie Mullins is a beautiful person. He's one of those individuals. Chi-Chi is a beautiful person. One of those individuals who just every day has that virtual smile. I happen to know, some of these people personally, and every time I've actually seen them, they're always smiling. That is a choice. You make a choice to be beautiful many times each and every day. However, if you're coming off a situation that is very, very difficult, and if you're coming off a situation that really sort of kicked you in the gut, making that decision to be a positive person is something that actually takes some nuts and bolts stuff. And there are about 2,000 emojis that Flaming Jackson just put up on the screen. That is a lot of emojis. There are some nuts and bolts stuff that you can do to try to be a positive person. And here's the deal, people. There are a million ways, literally, to try to be a positive person. So I'm going to spit out a few ideas for people today to get the ball rolling in terms of you coming up with your own game plan. What I'm telling you is not the only way to become a positive individual. It's not the only way to come out of a bad situation and turn it into something positive. I'm giving you some advice that other people have used, and these are pieces of advice that are given by, if you go to a psychologist and you pay them $100 an hour to sit down and tell them about what's going on, and you say, I'm really struggling after a relationship to try to be a positive person, these are the kind of things that they're going to recommend. Now, if they don't work for you, design your own plan. Okay? But this will give you an idea of the framework of the kind of things that they recommend to people to get off of the deck, so to speak. All of us have been there at one time or another in our life where we feel so overwhelmed by what's going on, by the day-to-day the day-to-day things that keep us down. If it's a loss of a relationship, or if it's a loss of a job, or if it's a loss of a loved one, there are a lot of things that happen that are really, they're depressing. They're sad. And how you deal with that, is the difference between somebody who has, normal reactions and somebody that has clinical depression. The ability to get, he's trying to put up Homeless's channel, he said. Boy, I wish I could help you with that. You know who the person to talk to is Christine. Because Christine is a wizard of some kind. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but Christine can do anything when it comes to posting, and she can make words come out backwards, and she can use 30 different kinds of script, and she can post things. When I go on a live feed and Christine is there, I can never put up my own link because I'm not smart enough, but Christine always has my back, and within seconds, there it is. So if you have a request, I would say do me a favor and ask Jamie and ask Christine, and I promise you that you'll get that put up. Yahusha's disciple, good to see you. I didn't see you come in the room. Moment of truth, I didn't see you come in either. Good to see you. All right, the gang is all here. So people, if you find yourself coming out of one of these situations that I was just talking about, and you find yourself having a difficult time getting back up. Oh, M, good to see you. It's not looking good for my Ducks. Oh no, it's hard to get back up. It's hard to get off the deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of pieces of advice, things that have worked for many others in the past, and see how that works. I've had seasonal depression since I was 16. I'm 45 now. Sunlight and vitamin D are important for us, no question. And it's one of those situations where very oftentimes people who are struggling with depression don't get up and get out. And that is one of those things that, very oftentimes with depression, it becomes a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. The more depressed you get, the more difficult it is to get out of bed. But if you don't get out of bed, I guarantee you're going to stay depressed. And very oftentimes it's just a matter of sort of breaking through that. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. We're talking about steps that you can take to sort of break through that malaise and start the ball rolling in terms of viewing life through a positive lens, right? Doing what you need to do in order to remain positive, or to start being positive after a sort of a tough knockdown. Many, many times on this channel, I have advocated for daily affirmations. When I do, someone inevitably will chuckle and bring up Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live, because they used to do that skit where he sat in front of a mirror and said, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me, right? And it was a very funny skit that he did. But the truth of the matter is it did a lot of damage to, sort of to the whole concept of positive affirmations, because I promise you, people, there's a reason that everybody in the rehabilitation community recommends that you do positive affirmations. And what it comes down to is words mean things. We've said this so many times. I've done so many videos on the subject matter that words mean things, and they do. The repetition of saying things again and again will drive it into the parts of your brain, and it literally will change. You can absolutely program yourself to be a more positive person. On the same way, you can program yourself to be a negative person. If you continue to repeat, to hell with this, I'm never going to be successful, you continue to put that out there, and I promise you, you can program yourself the exact same way. It's just how it works. But if you get up in the morning and you start with a daily affirmation, today is going to be a good day. Repeat that for a minute in the mirror, just saying, or even not in the mirror. I'm a big fan of looking at myself when I do a daily affirmation. It helps me focus. But, I used to get up and say I'm a good person, because for the longest period of time, I just didn't think I was. And once I got heroin out of my life, it didn't change the fact that how I felt about myself was not particularly healthy. So, for me, one of the daily affirmations that I needed to work on constantly was, you know what? I'm a good person. I'm a good person. Today is going to be a great day. Yes, it is. There you go. Any daily affirmation, but you get up first thing in the morning and say, today is going to be a good day, right? Today is going to be a good day. I'm going to make it a good day. If you've ever been over to my brother's channel, he'll say, you know what, people, it's going to be a great day today. And do you know why? Because I'm going to make it a great day. It's a choice. But you start the day with that daily affirmation. You start it by just looking in the mirror and spending a minute of your life. Is it going to feel odd the first time you do it? Absolutely. It's definitely not going to feel normal the first time. It's just sort of the nature of what you're doing. It's an uncomfortable thing, but get used to it. 14 days of doing it will turn it into a habit, and that's not something that you're going to regret. Start the day by declaring that it's going to be a good day. And then one of the other things that I would say is set really small goals. If you're trying to get up off of the deck, don't say that, you're looking to achieve world peace, because anything that you set a goal for that you don't achieve is going to have the opposite effect of what you want to have happen, obviously, right? So set small goals, and I don't care how small they are. I've said this 1 million times. The first goal of my day is to make the bed. Make the bed. It sets, for me, the tone. It doesn't have to be what you do, but set small goals. Make lists of small things that you pretty much guarantee you're going to do anyway, because the act of making a list of things that need to get done and getting them done gives you a warm and fuzzy. And the more warm and fuzzies that you can link together during the course of a day absolutely will make sure that that day starts to become a positive thing. Saigon, thank you, my friend. And to all of you that smashed the like button, I love the fact that you guys are always up on that. It makes me, it's humbling. It really is. I said it in the last live feed, but if you weren't here for that, there's something really great about the fact that, I don't have to do what everybody else who has a channel does and say, please, do hit that like button because it benefits the channel and this and that. The fact that you people do it all the time is just, it says a lot. And I honestly cannot thank you enough. It means the world to me. But so that's number one. Number two, focus on good things. I don't care how small they are. Focus on the good things. We find ourselves very oftentimes getting stuck on the negative, right? All the time. If the sun is shining, right? Make that a positive thing. Focus on it. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day, right? You have no control over this. But those small little things that you choose to concentrate on, as human beings, you ever put on a shirt and it's backwards, right? And the tag's in the front, and you think, damn it, right? I got a 50-50 shot of putting this shirt on right, and I get it wrong. How many times have you said, I got it right? It's not who we are. We complain about virtually anything that goes wrong, but we don't ever take the time to think about anything that goes right. And more oftentimes, there are so many things that you could concentrate on that are positive, but you don't. And if you're already in that negative mind frame, it's something that you are going to latch onto. You literally become a magnet for it. There's a book called The Secret. I'm sure that most of you have read it. It really was just a phenomenon of a book. But it talks about just this. If what you're looking for all day long is negative stuff, you're going to find it. And if what you're looking for all day long is positive stuff, then you're going to find it. In that book, they said, if you sit around all day long and think, man, I don't have any money. Man, I don't have any money. They say that basically you start to create that. And they talk about how thoughts can manifest itself into realities. And concentrate on the good and watch what happens. I don't care how small it is. The second thing is to definitely focus on the good things. I don't care the size, right? Truth. 760 says, I totally agree. I love it when that happens. I wish I could see this, people. My internet is so frozen up that I only see you on the camera, so it's really small. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of interacting because my second device is on lock. So, but three, find humor in bad situations. This is something that, excuse me, this is something that I know each and every one of you can do because I happen to have an audience with an amazing sense of humor. Oculi Mortis says he needs some McDonald's comfort food. Oh, Lord, no. But the concentrating, finding humor in situations that are tough is something that, again, they've said so many times that laughter is the best medicine, and there's something to that. You ever just meet those people that no matter how bad it is can laugh about it? I worked for a guy when I was younger, and he finally allowed me to I was a very young boy. I think I was 13 or 14 maybe when I started working for him. I was really young. But I was probably 16 at the time, and we were building, it was a cabinet making place, and he said to me, I'm going to let you put in this service bar. Like you go to like a buffet, you slide your tray along this bar. Okay, well, it was in a delicatessen, and I put one in, and it was huge. The thing had to be 60 feet long. And it was turned over to me. This is all you, go ahead, make this happen. So I got the entire thing installed, and I realized it didn't look 100% right, but I didn't realize just how bad it was off until he came and got the little device that you can look through and to make sure that something is level. And as it turned out, over the course of that 60 feet, it had dropped almost an entire foot. Now, it did it so, on such a sort of the gradient went down, right? So it wasn't super obvious, but I thought, oh man, is he going to lose his mind? And he laughed for 2 minutes. I mean, he just kept going, a foot. It's a foot off. And he just continued to laugh. And I was waiting for that moment where that laughter was going to come to him yelling at me. And he didn't. He came up and he put an arm around me. And he said, boy, this is going to be a learning lesson for you. And I said, man, I'm so sorry. And he's like, well, I'm not the one fixing it. He's like, don't apologize to me. He's like, but a foot, you need to figure out how you're this bad. But he just continued to laugh. And I promise you, people, I took something away from that. The man's last name was Skaskew. And I used to say to my father, when my father was still alive, if we were working on something, I would say, we got to be more Skaskew-like through this. If something really bad happens, it's a whole lot better to just sort of giggle at it than it is to just let it ruin you. You ever seen those people that lose their mind when they lose their keys? They can't find their wallet, and they curse and kick things? That's a choice. I promise you, that's a choice. So try to find humor in tough situations. Try to find something funny in situations that are beating on you. Number 4, remember that failures aren't really failures, right? How many times have we said, as addicts, that if you get knocked down 6 times and you get up 7, you're a success. If you get knocked down 100 times and you get up 101, you're a success. The only time you fail is when you just say, that's it, I'm staying down. So every single time a failure comes along, this isn't just, hey, I'm Tony Robbins. This is serious. Every time a failure comes along, it's an opportunity to learn and it's an opportunity for growth. And if you view it that way, then these failures or these missteps or these things that make people throw stuff against the wall will become something that actually benefits you. So oftentimes in everything that we do, we make a choice. Whether you realize it or not, whether it's subconscious or not, you make a choice. That's why laughing at bad situations is the start of everything good. Because if you lose it there, the rest of the list is gone, right? If my boss had said to me, you idiot, you realize that this is a foot off, number 1, I'm not going to learn squat, right? I'm going to hate him. All of these things sort of, like dominoes, start clicking into one another. It's so easy for us to let one small thing dictate how the rest of the day is going to go. And that day is going to dictate how the rest of the week goes. And the next thing you know, you're just that guy or that gal who hasn't smiled or been positive about anything in years. That's a choice. It sounds crazy, right? But it is a choice. I used to fall down on hikes all the time. Then I realized I like the perspective of looking up at trees. Falling down ain't so bad now. You know what? I love that. I love that because it really is perspective. Everything we do is perspective. You make choice for how you deal with things. Being positive is a choice. Laughing at situations that are bad, really it's sort of life-changing stuff. When I got arrested for the bank robberies, I was picked up and I was put in a car with the FBI. I told you that story before. But what happened after that is it was a very warm day in in March, and I didn't have on winter clothing because it was a beautiful day. I was wearing white polo beach pants and a white polo shirt, but it wasn't long sleeve. It wasn't cold. Over the course of the next 2 or 3 hours while they were processing me out, it got really cold, and they were transporting me from the building that I was in to go and take me to what was going to be my home for the next 11 months while I awaited trial, which was a county jail. And snowflakes started to fall, and they were huge, big snowflakes. And they're the kind of thing where it covers somebody's hair in a matter of seconds. The guy that I'm standing there talking to is a FBI agent. Moment of truth, I doubt that you're going to do him to, brother. I do. In the position that you're in right now and the things that are going on in your life, you may not choose any of these. But doesn't mean I don't love you, and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to pray for you. But I hope that you're going to reach a junction and a point in your life where you can actually try to be a positive person. It's a choice. Whether you believe it or not, no matter what's going on around you, it's a choice. And I know you're in a tough spot, and I know that things are bad. But if you choose to not try to do positive things, you already failed. For real. It's getting knocked down 6 times and staying down the 6th. And I'm not trying to debate you here. I'm not trying to turn this into that. But when you put up a comment like, I seriously doubt I'm going to try any of these things, I mean, that's basically all I can say to you. All I can do is put this stuff out there. I hope that you do, but I doubt you're going to. I really do. Anyway, so these snowflakes are falling, huge. The kind of thing that literally is covering a person's hair in a matter of seconds. And as the officers are leading me out, the person that had been running the investigation, who had interviewed me several times prior to the arrest and all of that, was coming in the opposite direction. And I'm standing there in handcuffs in a snowstorm. And the guy said to me, "Hey, Mr. Scoville, how are you?" "I'm handcuffed in a snowstorm. I just got arrested for bank robbery." I said, can't complain. And it struck the two of us that it had to be the funniest thing anyone had said in a long time. Like, I had plenty to complain about, right? I had just been arrested, and I was looking at a very long prison sentence, and I was standing in a snowstorm in a t-shirt. But I giggled, he giggled, and the next thing you knew, everybody there was just like gut laughing. And I'm not going to tell you that it turned my day around, but there are opportunities to look at things. My life has been one horror after another, but it's my life. Nobody else should be treated bad because I'm going through hell. You know what? Saigon, you've had an outlook since I met you. I know you've been through some tough stuff, but you're a funny guy. You know what I mean? You haven't lost your sense of humor. You haven't lost what makes you you. And I think that that's key. I think it's something that everybody is in danger of when things get bad. And if you allow the situations in your life to change who you are as a person, well, then the game's over, right? I mean, where do you go from there? You have to make a choice to be a positive individual. With everything going on, you are consistently here, day in, day out, cracking jokes. You're obviously a person who finds humor in situations that other people may not. And I love that. I really do. I love it. It's you. Not only have you not allowed things that are tough to affect people around you, but you affect people around you in a different way. You know what I mean? You are a positive influence on so many people. When you're not here, people say, "Where is Saigon?" It's that's a beautiful thing. It really is. And we're praying for you, my friend, and we'll continue to do so. So as I was saying, failure is an opportunity for growth. It really is. You can look at it that way, or you can just curse and kick at something. It's up to you, right? It's up to you to take advantage of any of these things. It's completely up to you, people. I'm putting out things that have worked time and time again, but it's something that I think 6 out of the 7 officers that arrested me liked my sense of humor. All misdemeanors, cracking jokes with the feds. I give you mad respect. You know what? Again, it's one of those situations where, and I'll be honest with you, when I said that one, it's just that I've said that to so many people so many times. I think I said it without thinking about it. And then it just occurred to me how funny it was that was, something that I had said. But I did try to, through that entire thing, and you see this a lot in prison, there are 2 kinds of individuals. They are miserable people, and then there are people who are the funniest guys you ever met, because you're going to take one of 2 paths. There aren't that many people that choose the middle ground. So you wind up with an awful lot of people that are going to go one way or the other. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to make you look bad, my friend. All I'm doing is answering the comment that you put up there, brother. You know, I don't think you're going to try these. Definitely not trying to make you look bad. I'm praying you try these. But it's a choice. I'm definitely not trying to make you look bad, Joe. It's not at all what I'm trying to do ever. It's not who I am, I promise you. So I apologize if that made you look bad, bro. Really. I took the comment. You know? So the next would be eliminate the negative talk. And this is personal talk. This isn't the stuff that you say to other people. These are the voices that you talk to yourself on. And, you know, all of us every day, like I was saying a moment ago, you know, for the longest period of time, I said, you know what, I'm worthless. I mean, that was the self-talk with me every single day. There was a reason that I chose to start my day with a positive affirmation that you're a good person, because I had been telling myself for a very long period of time that I'm not a good person. That the choice to take negative self-talk and turn it into positive self-talk is a choice like every other. And just like the affirmation, it's something that you have to choose to do time and time again. If you choose to stop saying things like F my life, you know, there's some people that I know who literally say that 15 times a day. It's gonna become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're talking yourself into the person and the mood that you're gonna be living in. They are self-fulfilling prophecies. It is a very, very easy thing to do. Believe it is. It's a choice. We choose to look at things one way or the other. Well, then I apologize, my friend. I truthfully apologize if it was a joke. I apologize. The sixth is to stay in the now. The individual who asked about this subject was talking about a situation that really has turned her into somebody that is struggling with something that is quite negative. And this was a relationship, like I mentioned earlier, that she was coming out of with a narcissist who, through that relationship, this decimated her, right? This left her feeling like she was less than what she was, which happens a lot with really manipulative people that you have relationships with. I mean, they don't care the shell that they leave you with. You know, they go out of their way basically to destroy. So that's kind of how she was left. If you live in the now, if you live in the moment, you tend to not dwell on the things in the past that you cannot control. It's an old cliche, but I'll tell you what, it's a great one. There are only 2 days that you have absolutely no control over, right? Yesterday and tomorrow. We're not controlling those days. You have an opportunity to control what's going on today. That's it. And I think the longer that you're sober, the longer that you're out of a bad relationship, the longer you're away from whatever it was that was the huge negative influence on your life, then the less you have to concentrate on a lot of these, right? 6 years into your sobriety, you may not have to look in the mirror and say, it's going to be a great day. That may not be something you have to continue to do. But until it becomes pro forma, until it becomes something that you don't have to worry about, then worry about it. Design the day to be what you want it to be. Hey, Joanna W., good to see you. Glad you're here. And Vapor, Swiss Vape, good to see you, man. Glad that you're here as well. But in the meantime, until you've gotten enough time, until you get to the point where there is enough of that sobriety under your belt, or you're far enough away from that situation or whatever, then live in the moment. Don't dwell on the past, because there's nothing you can do about it. And it is a disease. It is a disease for people in recovery. It is so hard to come to grips with exactly what we did. The wasted time, if nothing else. I've talked very seriously about the people that I've hurt and the things that I've done in my past, and I've come to grips with it, and I own it. But I don't even mean that necessarily. There are people for whom the only person that they really did a lot of damage to through their drug and alcohol abuse is themselves. But then what happens is we think about wasted time and wasted opportunity, and there are just so many, people out there that are going to spend 6 years of their life under the influence and 15 years of their life thinking about those 6 years. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. You can't fix that. Control the things that you can control. Take advantage of opportunities to control that which you can control, which is what? It's today. It's what's happening right now. You can choose to be positive today, or you can concentrate on that thing that's going to happen in 2 weeks that you stress out about for 2 weeks, right? I have built myself up. Give you a perfect example. I want very badly to be able to go see my family. This vacation that I have coming up, aside from the fact that I was incarcerated and didn't get to see people, and traveling to go someplace other than where you live is exciting. But aside from all of that, just feeling normal, like I'm part of society, right? Having the ability to go and act like just a normal Joe, right? Being able to get on an airplane and being able to go do something where you're not a convict. I mean, people, the last 4 times I've been on an airplane, I was on Con Air, which is not like the movie, but it's not really far from it either. I mean, you're shackled. It's a very, very unpleasant plane ride. And I so am looking forward to just being treated like a normal person and acting like part of society. But the stress that I was putting myself under and through, because I just kept thinking in the back of my mind, the tickets were already purchased. You put in this application with the federal government to get approval, and they can take up until 14 days before you leave in order to approve you. Well, how do you buy an airline ticket? I mean, if you buy a ticket at day 13, it's going to be 5 times more expensive than if you bought it a month and a half ahead of time. And this is something where I bought the ticket, and in the back of my head, this thing was just gnawing at me. He's going to say no. He's going to say no. And about halfway through that process, I finally snapped out of it for real and thought, this is the advice I give people all the time, and I'm not doing it. But it's out of my control, right? What could I do about it? I could pray about it, right? I'm telling you what I do. You don't have to do it. But for me, I put it in God's hands and forget about it, because that's really all I've got, right? I don't have the ability to make it one way or the other, so be done with it. Live in the moment. And by doing that, it's, which is why I'm buying my train ticket early. Yeah, do that. I promise you it's going to save you a bunch of money. But just letting go. I could have sat and dwelled on it for the entire month that this was going on. Instead, I let it go. I can't do anything about it. If you can't control it, why dwell on it? It doesn't make any sense. But so much of what we do that depresses us doesn't make any sense, right? But it's practiced. This is practiced behavior. Garth Michael says, these suggestions for choices that we can make to take the initiative against depression are simple, concrete, and powerfully useful, and not mine by any stretch of the imagination. These are pretty much tried and true types of things that they're going to tell you if you have any kind of counseling in any way. Now, granted, anything that I tell you here sort of has the Tommy Scoville, spin to it, because of how I deliver. Information is just how I deliver information. It's going to be unique that way. But I promise you, people, so oftentimes, if something is a theory of mine, I will tell you it's a theory of mine, because if it's a theory of mine, I don't know. Maybe you want to take it with that in mind, right? It is what a ex-convict and a drug addict has come up with, but this is not. Tommy, just to update you on my son. He has $62 saved towards Christmas gifts and blankets for the less fortunate. Man, people. How about concentrating on the good stuff? Every time Saigon does an update on his boy, I ride high for days. I'm not even kidding you. It's one of those things that I have the ability to concentrate on. That you look at the positive and you sort of latch onto it because it's one of those things that really lifts you. I love to realize that the butterfly effect, he says, I'm sorry, you know what? I know you said something about your son, man. It goes by so quick, and this one isn't working. So, but the butterfly effect of one sober person is something that I beat to death on this channel, and I will continue to beat it to death on this channel because it is, it's the reason I do what I do, right? Honestly, it's the reason that I do what I do is because I believe that if this channel gets one individual sober, it's not helping one individual. It's changing the world. And Saigon is such an amazing example of what one sober person can do. You know, here's a boy saving his cash for Christmas time so that he can do something for the less fortunate. I mean, that's not something that happens. He hasn't been using his lunch money and he's saving it. Does that not warm your heart? If it doesn't, then you're choosing the wrong things in life to concentrate on. You know what I mean? How many times during the course of a day do you choose online to look at things that are negative? How many times during the course of a day do you allow things to go past your eyes and ears that aren't going to make you happy? Right? You can go to so many sickeningly sweet channels or sickeningly sweet websites that just show you the most beautiful stuff in the world. I saw a football team where a guy had injured his knee. He needed one touchdown to break a record for the entire state, and he blew his knee out. And there was no chance of this guy ever getting that last touchdown. He needed one, right? So the coach had talked to the other team, and they let this guy suit up and go in there with a leg cast on and walk 6 yards into the end zone. The other team stood and watched this guy walk into the end zone so that he could break that record. Right? Sportsmanship, kindness, it's out there. I know people who talk to me about religion and they say, you know, if miracles still happen today, cat videos, I love it. They would say, you know, if miracles happen today, maybe I could believe. You know, you read about miracles, but miracles don't happen today. Miracles happen every 5 minutes. But as human beings, we choose not to look at them. Saigon's boy is a miracle. It's a miracle. It is, right? And in the world that we live in today, for a boy to be saving money to do something for you know, other families that have less, that's a miracle. Nothing less. But people choose what they want to concentrate on. People choose what they want to look at, right? I've said this on the channel so many times. There was a beautiful message from Anna. She had left a comment on one of the videos that just said, and she wasn't lecturing, she did it so beautifully, but she said, you know, she watches these videos, and I've said it 50 times. If you come across somebody that said something really lovely about me, like they hope I die, right? Or they can't wait till I'm found with a needle in my arm dead, taking the time to email me that and say, hey, look at what so-and-so said. It does two things. Number one, it brings something into my life that I had been choosing to stay away from. I know the places where these people talk about me, and I don't go there, right? By choice. But when somebody emails it to me, I know what you're trying to do. I know that you're trying to say, hey, I care about you. And that's what Anna wrote in her comment. I know that you're trying to be helpful. But the second thing that it does is it makes me go like this. Why were they there? Why were they over there checking that out? Well, Miss V, it's terrible, but it's every day. It happens every day. And it is what it is, people. Truthfully, I don't care. What stinks is when a friend emails it to me. I realize it's coming from the best place in their heart. But again, we choose what we look at. We choose to be positive or negative, right? We choose what we donate our time to. I did a video on spending time, right? It is absolutely spending time. It's what you pay with. It is the ultimate currency, people, because the clock's ticking. From the day you came out of mom's womb and took your first breath, the last moment of your life is already out there waiting to happen. So what you do between now and then, and what you choose to spend your time on between now and then, is absolutely, amazingly important. You can choose negative. I got a close friend who will say to me, boy, I was on a website. They they were showing a guy getting beheaded from, one of these countries that were, what the hell are you looking at? What are you doing on that site? I mean, morbid curiosity, but ask yourself, and these are the same people that will call me and say, I'm depressed. I don't know what's going on. I do. Good Lord. Look what you do with your time. Look what you spend your time on. It doesn't make any sense. You choose what you look at. You choose what you concentrate on. You choose what it is you're going to allow past this and past this. Now, don't get me wrong. Society's going to bombard you with crap, right? You remember when I did the video that said, turn off the news? Truthfully, turn it off. What's the point? We all know. Nobody here argues the point, right? I've never had anybody argue this, and that's funny because, let's be honest, people like to argue. But I've never had anybody argue with me on the fact that the news in this country today, boy, Garth, I love that. Feed your mind well, right? Feed your mind well. No one argues the point or the fact that news in this country that we live in, right here in the good old US of A, has divided us into two camps. It's what they do for a living, is to divide us into two camps and convince us that we cannot coexist. That last night we talked about respect, right? Okay. They've convinced us that respect isn't cool anymore. You can't respect somebody's opinion. If they disagree with you, hate them, right? That's what they teach us. Now, you can choose to go show up there. And if you decide, after being there for a while, that you hate every one of your friends who didn't vote the same way as you, shame on you. You let that in. You're the freaking gatekeeper for all of that garbage. You make the decision for whether or not I'm going to exit this feed between my stress, this game, and things being said. It sucks that I feel judged. I'm judging you, Oculi? Does anyone have any idea what just happened? Oculi, you have never sent me an email telling me what somebody said about me. I have no idea what just happened. Truthfully, people, I have no idea what just happened. But you're the gatekeeper of what you decide to watch. And I'll not apologize for saying that. You're the gatekeeper of what you decide to watch. If you're going to be a positive individual, if you want to be positive, then choose what you look at. Choose what you decide to let in. Don't be bewildered if you're negative because you've gone on, yeah, I don't know what I did. I truthfully don't, but half the time I don't know what I did, people. But if you watch any of the news, I don't care which one you're a fan of, but if you watch Fox all day or you watch CNN all day, and that's what you watch all day long, if it makes you feel like you got to hate somebody, don't be surprised. Why? I mean, how could that possibly be a shock to you? Oh, it wasn't me. Okay, thank you, Goth. Good, because I love Oculi. I really do. I really do. I love the guy. So, I would love to see a news network that focused on people doing good things for their community and for others. You know what? I would too. But the truth of the matter is, they'd go out of business. It's the truth. People, if I do a video tomorrow morning and I come out with the video and the title of it is, I'm tired of this crap, it'll get 400 views. If I do a video tomorrow morning and I put love, it'll get 70. Now, I don't care. I really don't. I'm not gonna go rogue for the purpose of getting views. But the truth of it is that we have become programmed to check out things that seem that make us, I don't know. We live for drama. We've become that society. Bringing it back to this, right? Choose your friends, choose your mentors, choose your groups in such a way to create positivity. And again, I didn't make this stuff up. This is time-tested and proven and true stuff. It's what you choose to let in. You want to be positive, choose to be positive. That's the way it works. You choose it. I missed that. News anchors are just actors that get paid to feed you a line of crap. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And there was a time that journalists were just that, journalists. And these days, they're graduates of the school for the ridiculously attractive, right? Because we've gotten to the point now where not only do you want to hear exactly what you want to hear, you don't want news to be anything that is outside of what your opinion is, but they're going to deliver your opinion exactly the way you want to hear it. And they're going to make sure the person who delivers it is beautiful and not wearing enough clothes, right? Showing a lot of leg. This is the world we live in, but you get to choose it, right? You absolutely get to choose it. I think I saw Fiona Crispin in the comments. Things move really, really quickly. Yeah, everyone is an editorialist now. You're right. Journalists are rare, if not gone completely. There isn't much left in news. In fact, in this country, I think their approval rate is under 7%, which really makes you wonder, right? Every single person in the country at 7%, 93 out of 100 people know that they're full of crap. They're not telling us anything real, and that they're just peddlers of who's ever paying them. But yet they stay on the air. Because all of us, as much as we all say, boy, we hate them, we tune in. It's tough to know what the truth is anymore. You're absolutely right. It is difficult. But you sort of make a choice for where you get your stuff, right? There are places all over the internet these days that are moving toward what you're all talking about. There are now outlets that just tell you who, what, when, and where. There's nobody to give you an opinion on the why. And that is absolutely beautiful. 40-foot garbage man says, good to see all of you, and we're glad to see you, my brother. Really appreciate you being here. And thank you again for yesterday. I get sort of steamrolled into what I'm doing. And sometimes I don't get to that enough. I really appreciate you. Buck Lau says, it's not just news on television. It's also bled into social media. No question. And we did an episode on social media where we talked about that. It's there are a lot of the majority of people in our country, and I would imagine it's worldwide, but I don't have the statistics worldwide. But the majority of people in our country now get all of their news from social media. They're no longer, going the normal route as a way to get stuff. And believe nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. That sounds about right. That really sounds like you're pretty much right in the wheelhouse for that. But people, let's do a quick recap. Get up in the morning and start your day with a positive affirmation. Say this is going to be a great day a few times. Spend a minute. Get that in your head, right? Just an easy way to start. Set goals that are small. Make you a list. Yeah. He said, Tommy's seen every news and talk show is all sponsored by Pfizer. Good point. Really a good point. Number 2, focus on the good things, however small. Number 3, find humor in bad situations. We're great at that here. Really, that's what we're best at. Number 4, remember failures are nothing but opportunities for growth. If you truthfully concentrate on that, you will find that it is a... No, you do not, Swiss Vapor. You do not need to scrub any deck. Hold that thought. Number 5, eliminate negative talk. Right? And replace it with positive talk. This is self-talk, people. But you know what? You could take it to real talk also. What comes out of your mouth, probably shouldn't all be nasty either. But that's, talk for another day. Number 6, stay in the now. Don't park in yesterday, and certainly don't park in tomorrow. I like pancakes. There is nothing wrong with that comment. I like pancakes myself. But I like real maple syrup. It's probably because I'm a Vermonter, but I like real maple syrup. That is super important to me. It's got to be the real stuff. And then, people, positive friends, positive mentors, positive groups, you choose. You choose the people that you surround yourself with, positive or negative. It is a choice. And all of you are doing a fantastic job at choosing positive people. That's why you're here, right? Waffles. French toast, okay, I can go with that. Canadian maple syrup is the best. Boy, we will debate that at a later date. Well, there's no debate to that. But anyway, yes, I am, I am spoiled though. I choose you. Thanks, Miss V. She's the captain of her own destiny, and she's awesome. That made my day, Miss V. I'm not even joking. You just made my day. That is absolutely beautiful. That's awesome. People, I'm going to leave it on that note. Everybody here has chosen here, and that's awesome. It really is. People, thank you so much for... Charlie, you didn't. See that, people? We were this close, and then Charlie had to bring up the Vegemite. Thank you, Moment of Truth. God bless you, my brother. I really appreciate that. It says a lot. Tomorrow is going to be a great day. It says Truth 760. Garth Michael said, glad I dropped by tonight. Not as glad as I am, Garth. A couple of great comments. Really great comments. Appreciate it, man. For real. Glad you were here. Yahusha's disciple says, I bought tacos for the class. Nice. Because if you didn't bring enough for the class, right, then congratulations to Alan Ballantyne and the weight he has lost. I'm going to do an entire deal on that, though. You're going to hear a lot more about that. Yahusha's disciple, great to see you. To everybody here, thank you so much for being a part of this crew and for making the lifeboat what it is, because it's about you. It truthfully is. It is about you. Tomorrow I work, but that's okay. Sunday. If we could continue our thoughts and prayers for all of the people that I've listed earlier, and since she's right in the comment section, let us keep our thoughts and prayers with Miss Fiona Crispin. So we know that she's going through that. My sincere apologies to Moment of Truth. Sorry if I offended you, my brother. I like you. I would never want to do that. Try to find some rest. I'm going to try to find some rest. But I will be putting up a video tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I'm not going to clickbait it. It's not going to say anything negative on it. It's probably going to say something about love. And if you show up to watch it, I'll be touched. Between now and the time that I put up that video, you have one assignment only. And that assignment never changes. We want you to reach out, and we want you to try to save somebody. It's a matter of life and death these days, people. Thank you so much. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. Have a great night, everybody.